Here we have the new 2024 Toyota Camry. This Camry comes in the XSE trim level in the beautiful cavalry blue. And then we have black leather interior. For the powertrain, we get a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. That's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. That gives us 206 horsepower and then 186 pound-feet of torque. So pretty much a direct carryover from the 23. I was expecting a refresh, but not quite yet. As we come around to the front end here, we get our LED headlamps, LED daytime running lights, and they don't flash like that. That's just how my camera's picking up the LEDs, but fantastic look. And this body style just really pops, I think, in this cavalry blue. The blue really does it for me, especially with these black wheels. As we come around to those, these are gonna be 19-inch aluminum, and I mean, they look fantastic. Now with this car, you do get a sport tune suspension, so we're gonna see how that rides on the test drive here momentarily. But passive keyless entry on the front 2 doors. We do have blind spot monitors in the side mirrors. We can control either side with power here. Just pick a side and adjust or offset it in the middle. Power door lock controls, rear window lock, and then 1-touch automatic up and down windows on all 4 doors. Bottle holders here. And then we do get Toyota Safety Sense 2.5, so that does include the auto high beams toggle. And then we can fool with the traction control, the trunk, or the gas cap. And then I'm gonna hit the hood release for later there. There's the latch. We do get a manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel. Just gotta loosen up a little bit. And then here we have our power driver seat with 2-way power lumbar support. And I love in this XSE that this is, at least according to the window sticker, actual leather. I mean, it looks good, definitely. I like the kick plate there as well. But having that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, let's go ahead and check out how a 6'3" person sits behind a 6'3" person in this car. So pretty impressive space, and I say this because I had it up. I kind of sit with pretty good posture, so I'm pretty much almost sitting straight up when I am behind the wheel. So I lean the seat back just a little bit to get my wider angle for the camera later. But still, knees are just barely touching the back of the seat, and it's still pretty cushy right there. And I'm so glad that we have seat back pockets on both sides. Now here we don't seem to have any USB ports or anything for the back, but okay. And then rear AC vents are there. A lot of people that get these cars don't necessarily have passengers with them all the time, so that might be why they did that. But we do have the bottle holders in that middle seat. We get the premium reading lights for the back, which is a big plus. And then grab handles here. We can hang probably a couple plastic or several metal hanger hooks here. And we also have rear side airbags, which I'm always glad to see, which helps this car get such fantastic crash test ratings, I'm sure. And I'll show you those numbers here in a minute. But for those of you that don't like having an easy fuel filler or something that you think people can easily siphon your gas, this is lockable, and we do have a traditional cap, so people have to work a little harder to get in your gas. And then as we come around to the back end here, I mean, I can't say enough about how good this looks in cavalry blue. My goodness. And I just love, even though this is the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, I love having that dual exhaust with the dual pipes on either side. So let's go ahead and pop the trunk from back here. There's the button on the right side. Plenty of space back here, I think. Then we do have an all-weather mat on this one in particular. We're gonna see if we can see what's underneath. There's the jack there. See how strong I am. Ooh. And there's a spare tire there. This is freaking heavy, but at least y'all got to see that. Whew. I gotta get all back in there. And then we can pull one side or the other here since we have two separate seats, let me put it that way. So we're gonna go around to the rear passenger side and I'll show you how this folds down. So pulling that latch, that'll fold flat. Now the seat itself is pretty wide, but I mean, you can still run longer objects through if you choose to do so. And then we have our anchors right behind there. And I like that we can remove these pieces. Just make sure you don't lose them if you plan on putting the car seat back. But I want to give a huge shout out to John Roberts Toyota for allowing me to review this Camry today. I'll leave a link below to this car in particular, as well as their entire inventory in the description. But there, y'all can pause anywhere you need to. And I mean, that's a very competitive price. I've been driving a few sedans here recently, and I just think that's extremely competitive for what you get here. And then we have our front passenger seat here, which also has power, which is a big plus too, especially with these leather seats. And then glove compartments here with owner's manuals. And I love having this. Toyota's always try to put safety first, especially here recently. And I love having those big illuminated lights to show who's buckled up and who isn't. And especially if you're gonna have kids back there, it's nice to be able to keep that on the up and up. Now this does have an optional paint protection film package, which I think is I've said this before, I think it's pretty good for the money. You have the protection that goes all the way down, and that just kind of keeps the hood in good shape. And then all of that there. So I think it's pretty good compared to getting it aftermarket. Keep those rock chips at bay. And there's a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder tucked in there. But that pretty much goes over the whole outside. Let's go ahead and hop on in the driver's seat and see what we've got going on here. So lovely leather wrap steering wheel here. I love the horn sound as well. It doesn't sound puny or it's not doing too much. So very impressed by that. Now we do get this 9-inch screen. There's the home page there, and this menu option kind of shows you how you can use different settings here. Now we get AM, FM, XM radio along with Bluetooth audio, and then we have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility. I believe that's still wired. I'm not 100% sure though. And then our info is here. And then vehicle alert history there. So all this, as you kind of drive the vehicle, that'll become a thing. Right now, it's really not. Now in your settings here, you can toggle your languages, set the clock, turn the beep on or off. So I'm gonna do that. And then your units of measurement, you can go in here and change that. And quite a bit of other things you can do too. Excuse me. Pretty easy to add your Bluetooth device. Just walks you through it. Would you like to add one? Hit yes. And then it'll go ahead and search for your smartphone or give you another option if you can't find it that way. Voice recognition options, vehicle settings, valet mode, and then you have your customization settings there. You get a Wi-Fi hotspot, and then your app settings are here too. Now we don't have the navigation app installed on this one in particular, but you can get that as an option. Now you do have an app section here, and you can update that as you see fit, do whatever. And then you do have the tune knob you can use, and then the volume again, up or down. Click there to turn the audio off. Down here, dual zone automatic climate controls. We can toggle the auto mode on there and then turn that off by adjusting the fan speed. We can sync and unsync with the touch of a button or by adjusting the temperature there. We can cut the whole system off, adjust that fan speed, adjust the fan direction here, and then AC toggle. Then we have our defrosters and then the heated mirrors on either side there. And we get a USB-A port, 12 volt. And then here we have a wireless charging pad. Then you slide that back, you have additional storage underneath there. And then to shift the 8-speed, just pull this lever behind, reverse, neutral, drive, and then you can come over here to manually shift from the shifter itself, or we do get paddle shifters behind the steering wheel, which I love. Drive modes are here, Eco, Normal, Sport. You have an automatic brake hold you can toggle there, and then you have an electronic parking brake. Pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down to disengage. 3-stage heated front seats. And then the center console cubby space is here. I like that we get a USB-A and a USB-C charge port here, and it kind of makes it a little better not having, I should say it makes up for not having them in the back a little bit, because I'm able to just run a cord through here straight to the back or to my front passenger. There's a view of the back from up here. Sunglasses holder, pretty big size. Again, premium reading lights there. We don't have a light for this mirror, but it's not too bad. Just don't be trying to do your makeup when it's dark. Now behind the steering wheel on the left side, blinkers, headlamp controls are here, low beams, auto, and then you turn the daytime running lights off there. And then we can toggle the high beams there and flash here. And again, when you're in the right mode, you can turn those auto high beams on. Windshield wiper controls, one time off, and then intermittent low high. Then we can adjust the intermittent here. And then we just pull here for the front wiper fluid. And we'll start with the safety stuff over here first. So the radar cruise can be activated there. We can adjust speed there. And then again, for the radar cruise, if you hold that, you can go into the just normal cruise mode, which I'm glad that they did that, because some people just like having the normal cruise, especially for certain situations. And then we can go through our radio station presets or track list here. This mode button takes you through all your audio sources. And then we have the lane tracing assistant, lane centering, steering assist, all of that. And you can kind of toggle what you want to do with this in the settings. And then we can adjust the gap for the radar cruise and the forward collision alert there. Volume controls, voice recognition, Bluetooth, and then this back button, and then these 4 arrows you can use to go through this middle part of the gauge cluster. So you can go within any of this, and let's say you want to change the lane tracing. You can go in there and say, turn the lane center off, turn it on, sway warning, all of that can be adjusted there. So quite a bit that you can do in here. If for whatever reason you decide to do that. But it's one of those things you can figure out. You can change the language and units from here too. But I like to keep it kind of in the eco indicator mode so I can see my fuel economy. And then trip meter is over here. We can toggle that in that bottom right corner. Trip A, trip B are the actual odometer. And then we can turn that brightness up or down here. But push button starts here. Finally, here's the key fob. And this one does have remote start, so you just hit the lock button 1, 2 on the 3rd time you hold it, and then it will remote start. Now it will cut off if you do anything like try to open the doors or whatever, because it's not one of those remote start systems that you get in, the car keeps running. And that's just for safety. Now I think this has an optional dash cam here. So you can put an SD card reader in there and have that going. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2024 Camry XSE out on the road for a test drive.